The pyre of Troy cast an infernal glow on the face of Aeneas, Trojan prince and reluctant fugitive. Tears, acrid with the stench of burning timber, blurred his vision as he navigated the labyrinthine streets, the weight of his father, Anchises, a crushing burden on his back. Every groan of a dying Trojan, every scream of a violated woman, echoed in the cavernous hollowness of his chest. Escape, a desperate gamble whispered by the ghost of Hector, seemed as distant as the stars choked by the smoke-choked night. Juno, the queen of the gods, watched with a malevolent glee. For years she had nurtured a venomous hatred for the Trojans, a grudge born of stolen affection and unfulfilled desires. Now her fury, a tempest brewing since the abduction of Helen, unleashed itself in a symphony of destruction. The wind howled like a banshee, monstrous waves, whipped into a frenzy by unseen hands, threatened to swallow their fragile vessels whole. The very heavens seemed to weep blood, each flash of lightning illuminating the terrified faces of his companions. Days bled into weeks, provisions dwindled, and hope, once a flickering torch, became a dying ember threatened by the relentless onslaught of the storm. Was this divine punishment? Was this the curse of a lineage tainted by the audacity of stealing fire from the gods? Aeneas, racked with doubt and despair, found solace only in the innocent slumber of his son, Aeneas, a fragile ember of hope entrusted to his care. Land finally emerged from the churning sea, a crescent of white sand shimmering like a mirage. It was Carthage, a burgeoning metropolis ruled by the enigmatic Queen Dido. With weary hearts and tattered sails, the Trojans limped into the harbour, not as conquerors, but as refugees seeking sanctuary. Dido, a woman with eyes as deep as the Mediterranean and a spirit as strong as the city walls, received them with an unexpected generosity. In the opulent halls of her palace, a stark contrast to the smouldering ruins of his homeland, Aeneas, his voice raw with grief, recounted the harrowing tale of Troy's fall. He spoke of the cunning Odysseus, the thundering rage of Achilles, and the fateful night of the Trojan horse, his words a tapestry woven with betrayal, loss, and the bitter taste of defeat. Nights turned into weeks, the shared trauma of war forging an unlikely bond between the queen and the exiled prince. Stolen glances grew into passionate encounters, and amidst the echoing halls of the palace, a love story bloomed, as unexpected as it was forbidden. Yet, amidst the whispers of desire and promises of solace, a serpent lurked in paradise. One fateful evening, amidst a lavish banquet, a hooded figure materialized from the swirling smoke of the sacrificial fire. The prophetess, her voice raspy and laced with otherworldly pronouncements, declared Aeneas' destiny. He was not meant to linger in the silken embrace of Carthage, but to journey onward, a vessel of fate, to found a new Troy, a nation destined for greatness on the distant shores of Italy. Aeneas, his face drained of colour, felt the air thicken around him. Dido, sensing the impending storm, grasped his hand, her touch a plea for defiance against the whims of the gods. "Stay," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Here we can build a new life, a kingdom bathed in the golden light of dawn, not the blood-red twilight of war." The weight of destiny, however, pressed down upon him, an unyielding mountain threatening to crush him. Could he defy the pronouncements of the gods? Could he risk the wrath of Juno, a goddess whose fury had already cost him his city, his family, his very future? Days bled into agonizing nights as Aeneas wrestled with the demons within. Dido, her eyes reflecting the growing despair in his heart, pleaded with him to stay. Her pleas laced with raw emotion, and the threat of a love turning bitter, threatened to shatter his resolve. But the spectre of a nation waiting to be born, a promise whispered by the gods, held him fast. With a heart heavy as a leaden shield, Aeneas made the agonizing decision to depart. Under the cloak of a starless night, the Trojan fleet, shrouded in mist, slipped away from Carthage, leaving behind a city plunged into despair. The sound of Dido's lamentations, a mournful echo carried on the wind, foreshadowed a terrible retribution. News of their escape reached Dido at dawn. The woman who had offered them sanctuary, who had dared to dream of love amidst the ruins of war, was consumed by a grief that morphed into a venomous rage. In a heart-wrenching act of defiance, she built a pyre, a monument to their lost love, and upon it she took her own life. As the flames danced around her, a single curse escaped her lips, a prophecy that echoed through the heavens, "Let there be eternal hatred between my people and yours. May war find no end, and may the descendants of Trojans forever be haunted by the flames of Carthage." The wind, as if carrying the weight of her curse, howled with renewed fury, whipping the flames into a frenzy. Aeneas, his heart a storm mirroring the one raging in the sky, watched from the deck of his ship as the pyre became an inferno, a beacon of the love he had sacrificed and the fury he had unleashed. The taste of salt spray mingled with the acrid tang of betrayal in his mouth. His companions, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and grim determination, watched the spectacle unfold. Anchises, sensing the turmoil within his son, placed a weary hand on his shoulder. "We cannot control the whims of the gods, Aeneas," he rasped, his voice weak with age and the journey, "but we can choose how we face them. Turn your grief into resolve, your guilt into purpose. Let the flames of Carthage light the path to a new Troy, a nation worthy of the sacrifices made." Aeneas, his eyes locked on the inferno consuming the woman he loved, nodded silently. The weight of destiny, once a crushing burden, now felt like a mantle of responsibility. He would honor Dido's memory, not by succumbing to despair, but by forging a future for his people, a future drenched in the blood of coming wars, yet shimmering with the promise of an empire. Their journey onwards was fraught with peril. Monstrous harpies with razor-sharp beaks and a taste for human flesh descended upon them, forcing them to navigate treacherous shoals. The one-eyed giants, the cyclopes, hurled boulders at their ships, the thunderous booms echoing across the waves. Yet Aeneas, fueled by a newfound determination, led his people through the trials, his heart a steely resolve against the challenges thrown at them by the vengeful Juno. Finally, after months of battling storms and mythical creatures, they reached the shores of Italy, the land promised by the gods. But their struggles were far from over. The native people, wary of strangers, met them with hostility. Alliances had to be forged, battles fought, and rivers of blood spilled before a foothold could be established. Through it all, Aeneas, the reluctant hero burdened by love and loss, emerged as a leader. He fought with the valor of Achilles, strategized with the cunning of Odysseus, and bore the weight of his destiny with the stoicism of Atlas. Yet, in the quiet of the night, under a canopy of stars far removed from the burning pyre of Carthage, a single tear would trace a path down his cheek, a silent tribute to the love he sacrificed for a future yet to be born.